Looking at an origami-style kayak that folds into a box and sets up within a single minute, meant for calm water, such as lakes, still rivers, or ponds. It weighs 17 pounds and holds up to 250 pounds, whilst from 9 feet long and 32 inches wide, it folds down to 42 by 10 by 18 inches. It's made from 5mm, double-layer polypropylene, treated to resist UV exposure. The seat uses EVA foam for support, while the hardware combines nylon, brass, and stainless steel components. Setup involves unclipping buckles, unfolding the body, inserting the floorboard and seat, and securing the sides using pre-attached buckles and molded fairings. But as we said, after a few practice runs, most users can assemble it in about a minute. There's no rudder or skeg. Direction control depends entirely on paddling technique. Because there's no mechanical tracking system, stroke control and minor edge adjustments help maintain direction. It's not meant for conditions with strong current, waves, or high wind, but otherwise seems super fun. The price? $499. A hot soak in the middle of nowhere sounds like a luxury, but this gear makes it possible with only water, firewood, and a bit of time. It operates completely off-grid, heating water through a coil and natural thermosiphon flow. Once the fire beneath the coil is lit and the top outlet is submerged, hot water begins circulating on its own, gradually warming the tub. It fits 4 to 5 adults comfortably within a 5-foot diameter and a 2-foot depth. Made from fire-resistant tarpaulin, the tub stands up well to backcountry use, and all components, including hoses and fittings, pack into a single carry bag. Total carry weight comes in around 59 pounds, making it feasible to transport by hand or vehicle. Assembly begins with finding a level patch of ground and unfolding the tub. Vertical support poles slide into built-in pockets around the wall, while 11 interlocking rods form a stabilizing ring across the top. Hose clamps connect the tubing to the coil, and cam lock fittings attach everything securely. Once set up, water is added until it fully covers the top outlet of the heating coil. A thermometer is included to track progress, and firewood selection makes a noticeable difference in heating speed. It costs $1,200, but I can see why. It fits in the palm of a hand, but holds enough toothpaste for weeks away from home. This travel toothbrush comes with a pump inside the handle that stores toothpaste, enough for about 50 uses, typically covering 3 to 4 weeks. Instead of packing a separate brush, tube, and case, everything's mixed into one piece. You simply press the handle to release the toothpaste directly onto the bristles, and when you're done, the head. The main win here is how much hassle it cuts out. You get a clear number of uses from one fill. You save space and you carry less. It costs $30. Spanning about 226 square feet with a peak height of 7 feet, this large dome-style tent offers ample room for up to 8 people. Its near square footprint measures approximately 17 by 17 feet, giving users flexibility in how they arrange sleeping areas, gear, or even a small stove setup. It includes 2 high-temperature stove jacks, which allow safe installation of wood-burning stoves, useful for heating or cooking inside when temperatures drop. The outer shell uses 40 denier ripstop silnylon with a polyurethane coating that provides water resistance equivalent to roughly 118 inches and sun protection rated UPF 50+. 4 full-size doors give easy entry from any side and help control airflow. A snow skirt runs around the bottom edge to reduce drafts and block debris from entering. When placed near a lake or other damp areas, the tent benefits from partial vent openings to control condensation. The stove jacks are lined with heat-resistant silicone material, keeping the tent fabric protected from direct contact with a hot pipe. Setup works best on flat, clear terrain, and using all guy lines and stakes helps the structure stay firm against wind. The price? This 4-season tent costs $1,390. Alright, this is so cool! Full stop. Each link actually has tools built into it. You can adjust the size in small steps by adding or removing links so it fits a range of wrist sizes. So it's got screwdrivers, hex drives in different sizes, box wrenches, a cutting hook, a SIM card tool, a glass breaker, a bottle opener, what else you name it. Making about 25 to 29 tools in total, depending on how you set it up. Some versions also have tools like an oxygen tank wrench. You can move the links around, take some out, or switch them to match what you actually need. If you never use a certain tool, you don't have to carry it, and you don't need any special tools to do that. Just a coin will loosen the screws. It's easy to set up the way you like. Even the clasp isn't just a clasp, it works as another tool. So nearly every part of it has a function. And since it's worn on your wrist, you're not filling your pockets or digging through a bag when you need something. It weighs about 6 ounces. It's made of silver stainless steel so it doesn't wear out. And they also made a black version with some special coating. And it's like you're carrying so many tools as a fancy bracelet that you normally wouldn't be allowed to pass in security areas like airport. Wait, what? It costs $277. Up next, a fire starter putty. A soft, sticky putty you can pinch off and shape with your fingers. You press it right onto your wood, even if it's been rained on or sitting in snow, and it sticks there, ready to light. They made a few different versions depending on the weather. One for cold temperatures that works all the way down to -20 degrees Fahrenheit. Another for warmer days that handles up to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. And one that's made from all renewable ingredients, if that's something you care about. All of them work the same way. You take a little chunk, pull it apart to expose the fibers, and light it with a lighter, match, or even a ferro rod. If you've got sun and patience, a magnifying glass can work too. A piece about the size of a nickel burns for 6 to 10 minutes, and gives you enough time and heat to catch the nearby wood, even if it's damp. The flame is strong and gets up to around 4 to 6 inches high. That bit of extra heat makes a big difference when you're trying to get a real fire going. It comes in small tins or foil packs, so it doesn't take up much room. A 2-ounce tin can last through 50 or more fire starts, depending on how much you use each time. It costs only $12, and your early ancestors will be very proud of you. They might even think you're some sort of fire god or something, and might be the first time you made them proud. Oh my god, they're so naive. UPS. And here's a washing machine that doesn't need an outlet, doesn't make noise, and weighs less than a sandwich. Yeep! Speaking about this seminar bag-like bag, it looks simple at first glance, but once you use it, it actually makes a lot of sense. You toss in a few clothes, add water and soap, roll the top closed, squeeze out the air, and then start rubbing. Inside, there are tiny bumps that work like a flexible washboard, scrubbing your clothes as you move the bag around. After a few minutes, you rinse everything out, drain the water, and that's it. Done. The clear panel on the side lets you keep an eye on what's happening inside, and the textured bottom helps it stay in place while you're using it. You don't need much, just a small load, like a couple of shirts and some socks. Once it's dry, it rolls up into a tight little bundle, about the size of a soda can. It can hold close to 3 gallons of water in total. It has a kind of material, sort of a mix of TPU and nylon, which holds up well and keeps water in, as long as you don't go over 122 degrees Fahrenheit. It costs $59. Next, a small portable stove that's impressively compact, just big enough to grill a single steak. We light it with a match, and the flame comes to life instantly. If looking for ideas, on its small steel plate, you just sear a juicy piece of meat, and then roast a red pepper, and then fry potatoes, and then, well, you name it. It's fuel efficient, running on gas, oil, or other simple fuels. It fits easily in a backpack and adds a cozy, rugged charm to outdoor cooking. Minimalist yet functional, this pokey mini stove turns any campsite into a tiny kitchen. Lightweight, reliable, surprisingly powerful. Carrying gear without power these days is like bringing a camera to a concert with no memory card. You're there, but you're not really ready. That's kind of the whole idea behind the Lancer 300. It's not just a bag, it's more like a rolling base camp for people who work with cameras, drones, and anything else that needs juice while you're out in the field. At first glance, it looks like a solid camera backpack, but then you start noticing the extras. There's a built-in battery, an arm for mounting gear, a hidden tripod, and all sorts of places to clip things on. It's kind of like your gear's home away from home. If you're out shooting and need to set up quickly, you don't need to dig through 5 different cases or hope your battery holds out. You just pull what you need from one place. One of the coolest things is the arm mount with a standard camera thread. It's useful when you want to film yourself, set up a time-lapse, or light a scene without juggling stands. And then there's the tripod. It folds out to about 5 feet and can spin all the way around, giving you way more control than you'd expect from a backpack setup. Now, about that power. Tucked inside is a 300 watt-hour battery that can charge cameras around 15 times, drones about 6, and laptops 4 or 5, depending on what you're using. There are ports for AC, DC, USB-A, and USB-C, so you're covered on most devices. And if you're really off-grid, there's an optional solar panel that can keep things running longer. The main pack holds 24 liters, weighs a little under 6 pounds, and there's a detachable top module too. This little gadget does 2 useful things. It keeps bugs away and charges your phone. It runs on 2 rechargeable batteries, the 2170 type, making about 10,000 milliamp hours of power, keeping it running for around 12 hours in repellent mode, or to give your phone a decent charge. To keep the bugs off, it uses 2 different methods. First, there's a small mat you slide into the top. Once it heats up, to around 329 degrees Fahrenheit, it starts spreading repellent into the air. It takes about 10 minutes to kick in, and there are 2 modes depending on whether you're using it indoors or outdoors. On the higher setting, it can create a bug-free zone up to about 16 feet around. On top of that, it also sends out ultrasonic sound waves, basically high-pitched noise that humans can't hear, but pests like mosquitoes, cockroaches, and even mice don't like. You can use both features at once if you want to cover more ground. It's about the size of a small TV remote, 6.6 inches long and just over 2 inches wide, and weighs under 5 ounces. It's not waterproof, but it can handle some splashes and light rain. It saves space by doing 2 jobs in one, and the setup is simple once you get the hang of it. The price is $99. Further, an outdoor tripod light. It weighs about 1 pound, easy to carry around without feeling like extra baggage. It charges through a USB-C port and runs for up to 4 hours on a full battery. The light head can tilt up to 105 degrees and also angles downward by 15 degrees, which really helps when you're fishing at night or need light focused in a certain direction. It has 3 lighting modes: low, high, and a strobe setting that can come in handy if you ever need to signal someone in a hurry. The tripod legs have magnets on the bottom, so you can stick it to the side of a car or other metal surfaces without it slipping. There's a silicone layer too, which helps keep your car's paint from getting scratched. What's really cool is that it gives off both focused and soft lighting. You can use the direct beam when you need to see exactly what you're doing, like fixing something in the dark. But if you're hanging out in a tent or trying to relax, the soft glow setting makes the space feel cozy without being too bright. It also has a hidden flame feature that adds a bit of warmth, and especially at nights, it makes things feel more like warm. It costs $149. A little setup called the Pocket Bath Plus, working by using gravity. With no batteries or electricity needed. We just fill up the water bag, hang it about 6.5 feet up, and connect the hose to the shower head. When ready, just press the top of the head to start the water and press it again to stop. That's it. Its head can be turned to switch between different modes, like a regular shower, a small tap for rinsing things, or even a bidet function. It comes with a few ways to hang or attach the head too, like a hook, a magnet, or a suction cup. No complicated parts, no tech, just a bag, a hose, and a clever little shower head that lets you control the flow. And yes, the gravity. You're gonna need that too, but sure you wasn't planning to use it in space, so yes, next. It costs $89. You know that feeling when you're out of breath, blowing up your sleeping pad, and starting to question your life choices? Yeah, this little thing puts an end to that. It looks more like a chunky marker than a pump, and it weighs as much as a slice of bread. You toss it in your bag, forget it's there, and when it's time to set up camp, it saves your lungs. Once it gets going, it moves air fast, enough to fill a standard backpacking pad in under a minute. The pressure isn't wild. You're not filling up bike tires here, but for sleeping pads and small inflatables, it's totally up to the task. The battery charges with USB-C and gives you around 25 minutes of runtime, which is more than enough for a few nights in the woods. It comes with 6 nozzles too, so it fits all the usual brands: Thermarest, NEMO, C to Summit, Exped, and the rest. There's even a deflate setting, which is actually great for packing stuff down tight before you zip up your pack. And weirdly, it has a fire starting function. Not something you'd rely on daily, but kind of cool to have. And what else? It makes some noise while running. Not crazy loud, but enough to notice. So just making sure you're informed. It costs $72. Guys, whatever were we doing thousands of years with those stoves that we only use about 1% of their surface? Seriously, look at these. They don't beep, glow, or run on fuel canisters. They just burn sticks and your meal will be ready. Take the Kombuz 2.0 for example. It's a full cooking setup with a rocket-style stove, a pot, and a pan that also doubles as a lid. Everything fits together into a neat bundle that's easy to carry. And it's amazing the way it handles airflow. There's a side tube where you feed in small pieces of wood, and the angle helps the fire draw in air naturally. No fans, no batteries, no buttons. It burns clean, and once you get a small flame going, it keeps itself going with surprisingly little effort. The newer version made a few quiet but smart improvements. The stove's a little taller now, which helps with the burn. The angle of the feed tube was adjusted to keep smoke from puffing back out at you. And the pot stand now has folding legs, which helps it sit more securely. And if you like things even more compact, the FireTower folds completely flat, about the size of a thin paperback. You slide it into your pack, and when it's time to cook, it unfolds into a small rocket stove with the same side feed setup. They don't try to do everything, but what they do, they handle with quiet precision. No sparks, no drama, just hot food and simple gear that works when you need it. Imagine, you can get it for $30. Rocking outside doesn't need a porch anymore. Wait, don't think at worst instantly. Speaking about this chair that let you rock back and forth anywhere, at a campsite, by a fire, or even at a tailgate. It has a rocking system in the frame, so you don't need to adjust anything or set up extra parts. You can feel that smooth motion, whether you're on grass, dirt, or a solid surface. It opens up to about 24 inches wide and stands almost 35 inches tall. When you fold it up, it's only about 5.5 inches thick, and it has a handle so you can carry it easily. It weighs under 12 pounds and can hold up to 250 pounds. If you want more room, they also make XL ones, with a wider seat supporting up to 400 pounds. Depending on the type you might choose, the price of these chairs goes anywhere between $77 to $92. This electric fire starter blasts superheated air, up to 1300 degrees Fahrenheit, to ignite charcoal, wood, or briquettes in seconds. No flame, no chemicals, just hot air. It gets plugged in into a standard outlet, press the button, and aim. Sparks or a glow show up in under a minute, and from there, the fire takes off on its own. It's 18 inches long, weighs about 2 pounds, and it's covered with some sort of metal heat shield for safety. The 9.8-foot cord gives it decent range around the grill or fire pit. Power draw is 1,500 watts. Some models include extras like a stand or even a bottle opener, but the core appeal is simple. Clean, fast fire starting without lighter fluid or match struggles. No smoke flavor contamination, no fuel waste. Just a fast way to get a fire going, whether we're grilling, cooking pizza, or heating up a wood stove. It cost $59. And another compact, multi-function outdoor cooker, designed for versatility while camping or in small outdoor spaces. When assembled, it stands about 39 inches tall, and when packed down, it folds into a slim disc roughly 12 by 18 inches for easy transport. The unit weighs about 44 pounds and can be carried in a backpack-style bag. It runs on wood or charcoal with an optional gas burner attachment. The body is steel-coated in porcelain enamel, and the double-insulated lid helps retain heat efficiently. It has a thermometer and adjustable bottom vents that controls the temperature. The cooking surface measures about 16 inches across. Assembly takes less than 3 minutes, and components separate easily for cleaning. It supports grilling, baking, and boiling simultaneously, and you name it. Its costs $490. If you like the idea of getting to fishing spots quickly and easily, especially ones that are tricky for bigger boats to reach, it might worth a look here. Take the Fish Pro Scout for example. It's got a 130 horsepower engine, holds about 18.5 gallons of gas, and has plenty of space for gear, over 50 gallons total, including a cooler for your catch. It can carry 3 people and isn't too big, so it's easier to handle if you're out there solo or with a friend. It's put together with a strong, lightweight shell and feels solid when you're riding. You also get fishing-friendly touches like a GPS and fish finder, rod holders, and a setting that lets the craft move slowly without needing to hold the throttle the whole time. Great when you're trolling. Now, if you're a bit more serious about fishing, the Fish Pro Trophy kicks things up. It's got more power, 170 horsepower, and a slightly longer frame, which adds some extra space and weight capacity. The cooler in this model can even be turned into a live well, so you can keep bait or fish alive while you're out. There's a swivel seat in the back, so you can cast more comfortably, and the rear platform gives you more room to move around. It even comes with a touchscreen GPS with sonar, which makes finding the right spot a whole lot easier. Across the Fish Pro lineup, there are some smart features that come standard, like trolling mode and rod holders in good spots. Some versions have 2 batteries to handle things like the GPS or the pump for the live well, and there's even a system that lets you clear out debris from the intake without getting in the water. You can get one from $15,000 to $22,000. Another camping grill gear, measuring about 11 by 5 inches and only half an inch thick. Strong enough to hold over 20 pounds when everything's set up right over some hot coals. What makes it really handy is how everything packs down flat. The tray, the legs, and the tools all fit neatly into a cotton bag, so it's easy to carry in a backpack or stash in a kayak. The legs can lift the tray off the ground to give you a better cooking height. But if you want to travel even lighter, you can skip the legs and just use rocks or logs to hold it up. The tray isn't just a grill top either. It can flip over to become a little basket, which is nice when you're cooking stuff that might fall through the slots. The set also comes with some extras, a wooden board for prepping food, and a pair of tongs that also work as skewers or chopsticks. The bag that holds it all can be tossed in the wash when it gets dirty. You can get it for $70. Until today, if someone would invite me with, "Hey, we're firing up a stove inside the tent," I probably would have said my parrot has a vet appointment and find the nearest exit. But after seeing this setup, I started to rethink everything. With a collapsible frame, integrated oven, and a burn chamber, this titanium stove changes everything we know about tent fires. It's really incredible. It supports both heating and real cooking in remote setups where a basic fire won't cut it. Constructed from 1mm thick GR1/TA1 titanium, it handles high temperatures without deforming, resists rusting even after repeated use, and holds up under thermal cycling. In oven mode, it weighs about 10.6 pounds and measures 17 by 8 by 16 inches when assembled. The stove-only configuration with a chimney increases total weight to around 13 pounds and stands 12 inches tall. When folded, the body compresses to a slim 16 by 8 by 4 inches for oven mode, or 3 inches thick when used as just a stove. Its two configurations, a standalone firebox or a combination with an upper oven chamber, give it flexibility for both heating and baking. The firebox volume is 15 liters, and the oven compartment adds 9.2 liters of enclosed cooking space. Oven temperatures reach between 350 degrees Fahrenheit and 500 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on how dry the wood is and the chimney's draw. Titanium stovepipes, either rolled or sectional, allow for reduced packed size and easier field transport. It costs $639. Set far from the noise of urban life, this modular living unit offers a complete, self-reliant home experience in the middle of, well, nearly any landscape. Whether it's perched by a lake, deep in the forest, or settled into a mountainside, it maintains full functionality without depending on outside utilities. Power, water, climate control, and waste management are all handled internally, giving it the flexibility to operate entirely off-grid. Covering around 646 square feet, the structure includes a spacious living room, bedroom, kitchen, hallway, bathroom, and 2 open terraces. High-end materials shape both the interior and exterior. The smart system inside includes remote access features, security monitoring, entertainment systems, and environmental sensors. Electricity comes from solar panels, with an optional generator as backup. The system runs on 220 volts. An air-to-air heat pump manages both heating and cooling, and ventilation is handled through intake and outlet vents. It uses a water tank holds up to 528 gallons, and a sewage system with 792-gallon capacity. The unit is assembled in a factory, then shipped and placed on a prepared foundation using a crane. It costs $600,000. And here's a single handheld unit capable of inflating tires, jump-starting car engines, charging electronics, and lighting up dark surroundings, brings together multiple tools in one compact system. It combines 5 core functions: an air pump, a 12-volt car jump starter, a 20,800 mAh power bank, a 6-mode LED light, and a high-beam flashlight, all powered by an internal battery. The air pump inflates tires in roughly 1.5 minutes a time frame, giving a strong output for common inflatables like car or bike tires. The jump starting feature delivers up to 2,500 amps of peak current, supporting vehicles with engines as large as 8.5 liters for gasoline and 6.5 liters for diesel. That level of current is on par with many full-size jump start systems, providing temporary high-power output sufficient for engine ignition. The price, $219. Next, a dome tent that holds 2 to 4 people, covering around 86 square feet and rising to 5.4 feet at its peak, enough to sit upright and move around inside. Its frame uses 6 aluminum alloy poles of equal length, which intersect to create a stable, balanced structure. This symmetry helps it resist heavy wind and snow pressure. The outer fabric is 40D ripstop silnylon with a waterproof coating, while the ground sheet uses Oxford fabric. A fire-resistant patch covers 1/6 of the floor to handle stray embers from a wood-burning stove. It includes 3 double-layer doors with bug mesh and ventilation panels. The triangular vents can be adjusted to improve airflow when needed. This setup helps circulate air during stove use and reduces the chance of smoke buildup inside. The stove jack is made from heat-resistant material and allows a chimney pipe to exit the tent safely. The ground sheet is removable, which makes the shelter easier to use in snow-based activities like ice fishing or winter camping without a floor. When using a stove, the tent comfortably fits 2 or 3 people with gear. Without the stove, it fits up to 4. Seam taping and structural layout both support its use in snow and rain for longer stays. It costs $640. Heating up lunch doesn't have to mean hunting down a microwave or settling for a cold meal. This lunchbox takes care of it for you. It warms your food on its own using a battery-powered hot plate. You pack your meal in the container, snap the lid on, slide it into the base, and pick what time you want to eat. About 2 hours before then, it starts heating so your food is ready when you are. Some versions even let you control everything from your phone using an app. The container holds about 4 cups of food in the regular size. The unit itself isn't huge, around the size of a small lunch cooler, and it weighs about 2 pounds for the standard model or 3 for the large one. It runs on a rechargeable battery that gives you around 2.5 hours of heating time. Charging is simple, and the cables are different depending on which version you have. There's even a carrying bag that helps keep your food warm on the way and gives you a spot to store drinks or snacks too. One handy thing is that the outer base doesn't get hot, only the inside container does. So you won't burn your hands picking it up, though you'll want to be careful when handling the hot container itself. It works best when you pack heavier stuff, like meat, closer to the bottom, since that's where the heat comes from. If you're using frozen food, letting it thaw a little before packing helps it heat more evenly. When you're out in the wild and need to cook, carrying a big stove or fuel canisters is the last thing you want. Nah, carrying a dead body would be upper on this list. Anyway, analyzing a little stove that folds down flat, about the size of a paperback book, so it won't take up much room in your bag. Once opened up, it stands about 8 inches tall and doesn't weigh much at all. It uses a rocket stove design, which means it pulls in air from below to keep the fire burning hot and clean. You don't need any fans, batteries, or extra gadgets, just some sticks, pine cones, or dry leaves you find around your campsite. The angled pipe on the side helps feed the fire as it burns, so you won't be constantly fiddling with it. And once you light it, you can mostly leave it alone while you get your meal going. Setting it up is super quick. You just unfold the pieces, drop in the ash plate, slide on the pipe, and pop the pot stand on top. No screws, no tools, no small parts to lose. It all fits together easily and only takes about a minute. You can even keep adding fuel through the side pipe while you're cooking. No need to take your pot off to stoke the fire. It's simple and it works. This stove started out as a personal project by someone in Brussels who wanted something small and efficient for outdoor cooking. Enough people got excited about the idea to fund it and bring it to life. Even though it looks basic, it's been carefully thought out to do exactly what you need. Get a solid flame going using whatever natural bits you find around you, without smoke blowing in your face. It costs $50. "Carrying a heavy backpack feels great," said no one ever. Dragging your gear around on your shoulders can make even a short hike feel like a full-body workout you didn't sign up for. So here's something to make that process, well, less miserable, using instead your hips. You just strap into a waist harness, hook up the cart, and walk like normal. Hands-free, especially nice when you're walking long distances or navigating airports, campsites, or trails. The cart adjusts to fit different body sizes, and it can switch modes depending on the situation. You still can carry it like a backpack when needed, pull it like a suitcase on smooth ground, or even attach it to a bike. There's also a way to extend it if you need to haul something long, like a kayak. It weighs around 4.5 pounds and can carry up to 85 liters of gear. It's made from strong polyester fabric with a coating to keep it from getting too worn out, and the frame is aluminum, so it's solid but still light. Shock absorbers and large wheels help keep it moving across all kinds of ground, from sidewalks to gravel paths. And what else can we say? Except, hips don't lie. Ah, yeah, the price. It costs $459. Next, a small 100-box projector. And why not? Huddling around someone's phone isn't exactly cinema. And let's be real, no one wants your weird watch history popping up mid-movie. So, instead of squinting at a small screen, you can throw up a full wall-sized image almost anywhere. It's simple to set up, even if you're not super techie. Speaking about 3 to 8 at max, and whether it's a backyard movie night or a weekend trip, it doesn't need a lot of prep or extra gear to get started. Its picture is surprisingly sharp. It plays in 1080p, which looks great in person, and even if it doesn't output in 4K, it can still handle 4K video input from your devices. In the right lighting, especially after sunset or in a dim room, the image really pops. Brightness sits around 1,500 lumens, which is enough to keep the visuals clear as long as you're not trying to use it in full daylight. Sound-wise, it's got 2 built-in speakers that do the job fine for casual watching. There's also a headphone jack if you want to plug in a better speaker or some headphones. And when it comes to connecting devices, it's flexible. It has HDMI, USB-A, USB-C, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, you name it. So whether you're using a laptop, phone, console, or streaming stick, it will be ready. Another thing that makes it stand out is the battery pack. It clicks onto the back magnetically and gives you around 4.5 hours of power without needing an outlet. That's enough for a couple of movies, a party, or a long gaming session, we'd say. Looking next at a hybrid sort between a grill and a fire pit. It uses real wood or charcoal and doesn't rely on gas or electricity, which means cooking starts with lighting a fire by hand. The setup includes a solid steel frame with an adjustable grill grate that can be raised or lowered to control heat during cooking. Above the grate, a tall crossbar allows tools, pots, or kettles to be suspended over the fire. This bar breaks down into smaller parts for easier packing or storage. The legs of the unit lock securely and can be configured in 2 positions, one lower to function as a fire pit, the other higher for grilling. It weighs approximately 50 pounds. The base measures 30 inches wide and 35 inches across from handle to handle. The grill grate spans about 36 inches. Depending on setup, the height can be adjusted between 31 and 56 inches. The steel construction gives it weight and stability, but it requires basic care, emptying ashes and drying after use to prevent wear. It's a hands-on cooking tool made for open fire meals and outdoor use, with flexibility in height and function. You know how camping chairs try to fold up into the size of a sandwich, but still somehow weigh a ton and never fit back in the bag? Fishing gear can be kind of like that. Way more to carry than you actually need. Now this one takes the usual pile of stuff. Bucket, rod holders, seat, lights, even a spot for your drink, and rolls it all into one. At first glance, it's just a 5-gallon bucket, but it's pulling more weight than it lets on. The top has a padded seat that swivels, which makes a long day of waiting for bites a lot more comfortable. There are 2 rod holders built into the sides, so your rods stay put without needing extra stands. Some versions even throw in waterproof LED lights, so you're not fishing blind if the sun's not up. It costs $80. Looking next at EZDOME House, a round dome-shaped shelter with about 11 feet tall and 11 feet wide. It's made from thick plastic panels, about 1.2 inches thick for the walls and 2.4 inches for the floor. It has a roof made from clear polycarbonate, which lets in natural light and has a vent to let air flow through. All the parts come in sections: floor panels, top and bottom wall panels, a door and optional windows. The whole setup weighs somewhere between 660 and 770 pounds, depending on the version. Quite easy, 2 people can set it up in around 60 to 90 minutes using everyday tools. Once assembled, it forms a sturdy dome that feels more solid than a regular tent. It's used for camping, outdoor stays, farm sheds, even small event booths or temporary shelters. Because of the round shape, wind doesn't hit it as hard as it would a flat structure, and snow tends to slide right off. One of the nicest things about it is how well it keeps heat in compared to simple plastic cabins or tents. The double-layered plastic panels help trap warmth and keep the inside temperature more stable. The materials don't include harmful stuff like bisphenol or phthalates either, so it's safe to spend long hours, or even nights inside. People have found a bunch of different uses for it. Some use it as a mini greenhouse or workshop, and others have used it during emergencies when quick shelter was needed. Since it doesn't need a heavy foundation and can be taken apart and moved, it works well for places where you might not stay forever. It costs $3,980. This espresso maker packs everything you need to brew a real shot of coffee: heating, pressure, and battery, all in one small machine. You can use either your own finely ground coffee or pop in an espresso original style capsule. It adjusts the pressure automatically depending on what you're using, which helps pull a smooth shot with good creamer, whether you're using grounds or a pod. If you're starting with cold water, it heats up about 1.7 ounces to the right brewing temperature, around 198 to 205 degrees Fahrenheit, in just over 3 minutes. That means you don't need to carry a separate kettle. The battery holds 9,000 mAh and charges with USB-C. If you're heating cold water each time, you'll get around 6 or 7 shots on a full charge. If you're using hot water you brought with you, it can go for over 300 shots since it's just focusing on brewing. It's really compact, about 1.5 pounds in weight and roughly the size of a water bottle. It's made from BPA-free plastic and stainless steel. The outside can handle getting splashed or caught in the rain thanks to its IPX6 rating, though it's not something you want to drop in water. The water tank holds around 2.7 ounces, and the cup that comes with it fits about 7.4 ounces. In the box, you get the machine, a capsule adapter, portafilter, single and double shot baskets, scoops, a funnel, needle for distributing grounds, and a USB-C cable. Cleaning is simple though, just rinse by hand. All in all, it's a handy way to make real espresso when you're away from the kitchen. The price? $159. What a feeling! To wrap up in a warm blanket after the sun dips behind the trees and the air turns sharp. That kind of comfort hits different outdoors, and this modular blanket system delivers it without overcomplicating things. Made up of 3 core pieces, the mountain blanket, field blanket, and mesa mat, it combines solid construction with a smart connection system that lets the parts snap together or stand alone, depending on what the moment calls for. The mountain blanket is the warmest of the 3. It measures 84 by 50 inches when open, packs down to 9 by 9 by 15 inches, and weighs 4 pounds 6 ounces. It features a soft polyester fleece interior and a diamond shell ripstop nylon exterior, coated with PU and treated with a DWR finish. The field blanket shares the same open size, but uses microfleece inside, which makes it more compact and lighter, 2 pounds 13 ounces. It includes similar modular snaps and pocket storage, and works well when nights are cool, but not cold. Then comes the Mesa Mat. This one's all about ground coverage and base layering. It comes in single 42 by 50 inches and double 84 by 50 inches versions. Packed down, it's barely the size of a fist. Made from the same outer fabric as the blankets, it's waterproof and connects easily to them with snaps for added insulation or coverage. And everything looks fine, except for gosh, the guy seems so annoying, he'd annoy the annoying orange itself. Anyways, if you're wondering for the price, Mountain Blanket, the Field Blanket, and the Mesa Mat would make $309.85. And this table integrates a 310 watt-hour internal battery with a solar panel built directly into its surface, offering a combined energy capacity of approximately 510 watt-hours. Charging can be done in several ways: via sunlight in about 4 hours under favorable conditions, or through a car outlet or standard wall outlet in roughly 8 hours. It has a wireless charging pad for phones, USB, and 12-volt DC outputs for devices, a speaker for Bluetooth audio, and underside lighting for visibility at night. A small compass and thermometer to assist with orientation and tracking environmental conditions. Once exposed to sunlight, the surface begins transferring energy to the internal battery, which can then charge or power various electronics like smartphones, tablets, or small appliances. Based on performance estimates, a full charge can supply enough energy for up to 24 phone recharges or around 7.5 tablet recharges, depending on usage. Instead of using separate solar panels, external batteries, and tables, this combines all elements into one object. It serves those who want access to electricity in outdoor settings like campsites, patios, or events. Its structure allows it to be set up quickly, used easily, and moved without needing multiple accessories or tools. It costs $799. Not every piece of gear can shift form to meet the needs of the moment, but this one does it. It functions as a hammock, a weather shield, or a ground layer, depending on how it's set up. That adaptability begins with its construction. A 70D ripstop nylon base coated in polyurethane, offering protection from rain and wind. Seams are sealed end to end to block water entry. When suspended, it holds over 500 pounds. Spread flat, it measures about 10 feet long by 6.6 feet wide. 6 connection points line the perimeter, each paired with 9-foot cords stashed in built-in pockets. Packed into its compression sack, the whole setup weighs around 2 pounds. Changing its configuration is a matter of repositioning the anchor points. In elevated mode, it becomes a hammock for rest or sleep. On the ground, it lays flat for use as a barrier between people and soil or sand. Set up overhead or to the side, it blocks sun or wind, forming lean-tos, plow point shelters, or A-frame covers. Each form relies on the same fabric body, giving it a functional simplicity that rewards problem solving. The material holds up under shifting conditions. The coating helps repel rain, and the tight weave keeps wind from pushing through. Though it doesn't include extra parts like poles or underquilts, it functions effectively with minimal support. The 6 tie-down cords offer enough range to work with trees, stakes, or whatever anchors are available in the area. It costs $79. Looking next at ODUN that reaches about 842 degrees Fahrenheit, which is hot enough to make a real wood-fired pizza. Its oven part has a special stone inside that spreads the heat evenly, so your pizza crust turns out crispy instead of soggy. It also has a small drawer underneath where the ashes collect, so cleaning up afterward is easy. The legs fold down when you want to move it, which makes it simple to pack and take along on camping trips. The way it works is pretty clever. You just add wood to the main chamber, light it, and let the airflow inside keep the fire strong. It burns cleanly and produces steady heat without a lot of smoke. When you're in pizza mode, it can bake one in about 2.5 minutes. You can also switch it to grill mode and cook meat or vegetables right over the flame, or use the top surface to heat up a pot for soup or coffee. Because it gives off a lot of warmth, it can even act as a heater when you're camping in cold weather. Just make sure there's good ventilation. It's made of stainless steel, so it holds up well to high heat and doesn't warp after repeated use. The double wall structure keeps more heat inside and helps it burn wood efficiently, while the outside stays cooler. In simple terms, the ODUN is like having a little outdoor kitchen wherever you go. You can cook dinner, bake pizza, or just sit beside it for warmth while spending time outdoors. It costs $600. Trying to make pancakes on a windy mountain morning with a cheap stove that barely lights? That's like trying to toast bread with a flashlight. These butane camp stoves actually get the job done, and don't make you work for it. You don't even need matches. Every stove in the lineup uses a piezoelectric ignition, so one press and the flame's going. Most of the stoves have a sturdy metal body and a removable enamel drip pan for easy cleanup. The knobs are made to handle heat, so you don't end up burning your fingers, and the rubber feet help keep the stove in place on a flat surface. There's a safety system that shuts off the gas and ejects the canister if the pressure jumps too high, which adds peace of mind, especially if you're distracted or multitasking. One of them, the GS8300, even folds down to the size of a water bottle, which is great when you're short on space. The price? Up to $49, starting from $34. Ever been at a picnic or beach party where everyone's drinks are warm and the ice ran out hours ago? Here's a battery-powered ice maker is small enough to carry in one hand, but strong enough to keep everyone's drinks cold. It can handle heat, dust, and long afternoons outside without slowing down. Whether you're camping, tailgating, or hanging out by the pool, it quietly does its job in the background. About as loud as normal conversation, while you enjoy the moment. Inside, it runs on a smart cooling system that freezes water in minutes. Thanks to the Iceburst X rapid refrigeration and AIR Vortec motor, it turns water into 12 neat cubes in about 9 minutes for the first batch and 5 minutes for every round after that. It even works when the temperature climbs past 100 degrees Fahrenheit. The built-in battery keeps it running for around 3 hours and can make more than 400 cubes before needing a recharge, which takes about 4 to 5 hours, using either a Type-C or standard charging port. The water container and ice basket are made from food-safe materials, so the ice is clean and ready for drinks. It uses a natural, non-toxic refrigerant called R290, which keeps things cool without affecting the taste or quality of the cubes. The outside is solid and made to handle outdoor settings, so you don't have to worry about a few bumps along the way. It costs $400. This first aid and survival kit packs a lot into a small space. It measures about 12 by 8 by 6 inches and weighs around 3 pounds, so it's easy to carry or strap onto a backpack or even keep in your car. The outer case is made from a tough fabric that can handle being knocked around a bit and doesn't soak through easily if it gets wet. It also has straps and rings, so you can attach it to your gear or hang it up if needed. Inside, everything has its own place, which really helps when you're in a hurry or your mind is not quite in place. Some versions even use color-coded sections to separate the different types of supplies, like red for first aid, black for survival tools, and so on. When it comes to what's actually inside, it's not just the usual band-aids. There's a solid mix of medical items and survival tools. For first aid, you'll find all kinds of bandages, gauze, wipes, scissors, tweezers, tape, cotton balls, and even burn gel. It's basically a small clinic in a bag, ready to help with scrapes, cuts, or something a bit more serious. On the survival side, you get a folding knife with a 3.25-inch blade, a multi-tool with pliers, a flashlight, emergency blanket, whistle, rain poncho, glow sticks, and a few other things like a paracord bracelet that has a fire starter built in. It even has a mirror for signaling in case you're really out there. You can get one for $47. Ever tried chopping vegetables on your lap or balancing a coffee mug on a cooler lid? It's about as fun as herding squirrels. So there's a storage you can use like your own little workbench that travels with you. It might look like not such a big deal, but open it up and you've got an actual flat surface to prep food, make coffee, or set up your gear. The cutting board doubles as a tabletop. It slides in and out easily, so you can clean it without hassle. You can choose between a bamboo version or a polyester one that handles water-heavy situations better, like near rivers or during rainy setups. Everything inside has a place. There are sleeves for bottles, snacks, or even a tablet, smaller pockets for cutting boards or tools, and a dedicated panel for knives and utensils, so you're not digging around for that one spoon. There's also a spot to keep cups and bottles upright, and even a loop to hang a light if you're setting up in the dark. Now, about the size. When zipped up, it's around 17 by 20 by 6.25 inches and weighs close to 10 pounds if you're using the bamboo board version. A lighter model comes in at about 5 pounds with a slimmer build. The material depends on the version, but includes heavy-duty fabrics like nylon, cordura, and hypalon, along with strong buckles that keep everything secure. It has a price tag of $295. This chair doesn't lock you into one sitting position. You can switch between upright, slightly leaned back, or fully reclined, just by pressing a button. It's an easy, no-fuss way to get comfortable, whether you're reading, relaxing, or taking a quick nap. It has a frame made from the same kind of aluminum used in airplanes, and the pieces are held together with strong steel parts. The seat itself is made from soft woven fabric that holds up well outside. And the armrests? They look like wood but aren't, which means they can take a beating and still look good. It can hold up to 350 pounds and weighs about 12 pounds when the cooler underneath is empty. The chair is 36 inches tall overall, and the seat sits 16 inches off the ground. The backrest goes up 25 inches, and the seat gives you about 20 inches of width to sit on. Side to side, the whole thing is 22 inches wide, and the seat has a depth of 16 inches. Right under the seat, there's a cooler built in. It can keep ice frozen for more than 8 hours and holds around 15 regular-sized cans. There are also a couple of little pockets outside the cooler, which are great for tossing in your sunglasses or sunscreen. The cup holder is a nice touch too. It clips onto either armrest and fits bottles, cans, or mugs. You throw it on your back and walk hands-free, which is super handy if you're heading to the beach or your campsite. It also folds up when you're done with it, though the exact folded size isn't listed. It costs $199. Now, what do you think about this concept tents? Let us know in the comment section below.